Welcome, students. Welcome to our English classes. So, our topic, every success story is also a story of great failure. And we have been learning about many successful people who failed in their earlier lives. So, in the previous class, we learned about Thomas Edison. So, who invented an electric bulb nearly after 10,000 failures? And we learned about Abraham Lincoln, we learned about Sanders, we learned about Forrest, we learned about Walt Disney, we learned about Wright brothers. So, all these stories are inspirational stories for us. So, they are inspiring us, they are motivating us, and helping us to digest the success and failure in an equal way. So, right from failures and also from success, we are learning many lessons. So, how do failures help us lessons? Help us in many ways. So, according to one estimation, most of the theories that were left out by the earlier scientists were taken as an inspiration, and the new generation and the coming generations made experiments on those failed experiments and got success. So whatever is left away by the earlier scientists, the next upcoming scientists, they learned some lessons from them and invented some excellent tools and instruments for the next generation. So like that, one's failure may be others' success, others' success may be others' inspiration. So in this way, we are every time we are changing our life and enabling the human life in a comfortable and happy way. So there is a formula for success. So what is success? You put your attempts, you try for your success. When you fail, again you go for the previous step and again you attempt in your life. Suppose if you get success, so you don't satisfy with your success, again you go for the next best level in your life. So this is what we are learning. In the previous class, we learned the difference between a successful person and an ordinary person. So what is that? They bounce back in their life from every failure, and they fall forward falling instead of falling backwards. So these are the two successful principles we learned from the failed persons and how they marched towards their success. Yes, setbacks are inevitable. So these setbacks, they give us courage, they give us confidence, and also they help us in overcoming our difficulties in our life. So we need to learn to become victors, not victims. So we should learn how to become successful persons, how to become victors, but never become a victim to your problem. So victim means a prey. Prey means food. Never fall in the hands of your problems. So it is, problems are just compared with a net. So if you fall in the net, we should try to find out the ways of coming out of this net. So if you give away your hope, if you give away your courage, so you become a prey in the hands of your problems. So that's why never give up any chance to your problems and always try to fight with them, against them to get success. Next, fear and doubt short circuit the mind. Fear and doubt, they short circuit your mind, they spoil your mind, they destroy your mind, they damage everything. So that's why don't give way to fear and also the doubts. So whenever a doubt arises in your mind, so you try to get clarifications for those doubts. So immediately you consult your teachers, immediately you consult the learned persons, immediately you put your brain on those doubts. So as and when you get a doubt, you should get clarification. So you should erase the doubt from your mind. So if you go on keeping that doubt in your brain, that will be just like a fire which will burn your entire mind and body. So in one way, it will burn your entire life. So never give chance to your doubts. So doubts are while you are doing something, while you are preparing for something. So doubts are common to arise in our life, but don't feel shy to ask others. So if you really want to develop in your life, we can even get clarifications from our juniors, from our elders. Don't feel insult. Suppose if I ask this doubt from my junior, so what my juniors may think about me? Do you want the clarification or do you want your prestige? So that's why, so in one way, all great people are ready to learn lessons from children also. So clarify all your doubts. So this is also one of the tips to get success. Next one, so never give chance to your fear. Fear is one of our enemies. So fear is your worst enemy in our life. So if you fear to do, if I fear to explain the lessons, if you fear to write the exams, that's the end of our life. So that is called dead end. So never give chance to your fear. That's why in 9th class also we learned Rabindranath Tagore's poem, Freedom. The very first line is, fear from the fear is freedom. So if you are really striving for freedom, never give way to your fear. Fear from the fear itself is the freedom. So if you fear, that's the end of your life. Where the mind is without fear. He requested God to create a world where the people live bravely and where people do not have any fear in their minds. Fear from the fear. So we should not have any fear, any kind of fear in our life. So our brave soldiers are fighting against our enemies near the boundary without any fear. If they feel fear, who will protect us? If you feel fear in your life, who will write your exams? So no question of feeling fear in our life. So challenge their problems in a brave way. So this is another secret for success. Ask yourself after every setback. Ask yourself after every setback. So today you failed in some exam. You failed in an exam. So instead of worrying about the fear, instead of worrying about that thing, sit in a place, in a calm place and ask yourself. You put yourself some questions. So what is the reason for my failure? Where did I go wrong? So definitely you find the answers for yourself. So if you are doing some mistakes, how can I tell the answers? So how can I rectify your mistakes? So I am an outsider. But you know well what type of mistakes you have done in your life. For example, after completing this lesson, if I play my video back and listen to my lessons, definitely I find many faults in my lesson. So I should not worry about it. So once again, I should recollect my mistakes. So in the next video, I should not repeat the same mistakes. So we are human beings. To err is human. To forgive is divine. So there won't be any person without doing any mistakes. We all do mistakes. It is not at all a mistake in making some mistakes. So if you do mistakes, you learn some lessons from those mistakes. So after every setback, after every attempt, you sit and try to think of the mistakes you have done in your attempts. So what did I learn from this experience? So what did I learn from this experience? So I will tell about my experiences. So you can talk about your experiences. The third party won't come and talk about your experiences. They may talk about some outer experiences, but the inner experiences can only be learned by you. So you may talk about my physical appearance, or you may talk about my accent, actions, so pronunciations, all these things. You may see only my outer appearances. But what about my inner appearances, my feelings, my experience? All these things should be learned only by the person himself. So you recollect your experiences and try to understand, point out the difficulties. So here I went wrong, there I went wrong. So in life, if you do a mistake, so God is giving many chances to us. If you fail in your first attempt, there is second attempt, third attempt. So many chances are provided in our life. So rectify them, learn them, and ultimately you try to become a perfect person. Perfection in your profession. So don't think about others. So if I stand like that, if I do like that, what others think about me? Others may think in any way. So if you stand like that, they may laugh at you. But if you try to change your attitude, so they may laugh at your attitude also. At the changed attitude also. So we are not working for others. We are working for ourselves. So self-satisfaction is the best satisfaction. So work for yourself and work with commitment and work sincerely and put your 100% efforts in your work. That's all. That's a great achievement. So, what did I learn from my experience? Once, only then you will be able to turn a stumbling stone into a stepping stone. So our life should be a stepping stone. Stepping stone means if you put your feet on the stone should not tremble. Trembling means shaking. The stone should not shake. If you put your feet on a shaking stone, you will fall and make others to fall on the ground. So trembling stones are not suitable for landing. We should put our feet on a stable stone. So your foundation should be very strong. So you take much time to lay a strong foundation in your life. So when the foundation is very strong, we can construct as many stories as we can. We can construct 10, 20, 50, 100, 120 flats also on the building. That depends on the foundation you are giving to your life. That depends on the foundation you are giving to your country, nation. If every person is laying a strong foundation for their lives, so ultimately the entire nation will be strong. So don't forget that you should always put your feet on a strong stone but not on the trembling stones. Okay? The motivation to success comes from the burning desire to achieve a purpose. So these are excellent sentences that you all should remember and practice in your life. So each sentence is a diamond, a pearl, a gem. The motivation to success comes from the burning desire to achieve a purpose. So every person should have a purpose in his life, should have an aim in their life. So my aim is to become a best teacher. My aim is to become a good teacher. So your aim should be maybe to become an engineer or a doctor or something. There are so many professions, and don't think that engineering is the best profession or doctor is the best profession. So each profession is great for this society. So lawyer, doctor, so many professions are there. So you choose one profession. If you don't have any aim in your life, that life is also waste. So aimless life is just like an oarless boat. Yes, so put one aim, put one target in your life. That is the purpose of your life. And desire to achieve a purpose. And you should have a strong desire to reach that goal. we should reach that goal. Somehow, by hook or crook, I should reach that goal. Finally, when I complete my studies, I should be posted in a great position. I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a doctor. I want to become an engineer. So not an ordinary engineer. Aim high. So aim. The sky is the limit for us. So don't aim for an ordinary engineer or an ordinary doctor. Aim high. I want to become an engineer like Kalam. I want to become a doctor like Venugopal. Who is this Venugopal? He is the first heart transplanted doctor in India. He first transplanted the heart in India. He did the first open surgery in India. So aim like that and be a model for the entire world. Next, burning desire to achieve a purpose. So your desire should be a burning one. So what is this desire? What is an ordinary desire? What is a good desire? And what is a burning desire? So what do you mean by burning desire? So your mind should burn like anything. So whatever and wherever you may be, so you should always concentrate and you should always focus on your goal. So if you are not having that kind of burning desire, yours is only an ordinary desire, and that person may or may not reach his goal. So if you compulsorily want to get success in your life, definitely your goal should be, your desire should be a burning one. That should burn your heart, that should burn your mind like anything. Burning means it won't burn you like anything. The intensity of your desire should be in such a way. How the sun is burning, your desire should also burn like that. Then what will happen? So, when you want to play in the ground, when you want to go for a movie, so your desire won't allow you to do like that. Suppose if your desire is to get first rank in your exam, so we see some students sitting before their books and preparing for their exams. So they forget about their food, they forget about their entertainment, they forget about their games, they forget about their friends. Simply we see them sitting before the books and concentrating on their subject. And some students on the other side, on contrary, we see them only in the ground and enjoying their lives. So what's the difference between these two persons? Or two students? That is the burning desire. Even though when this student wants to play in the ground, his mind never allows him to play in the ground. Hey, you want to get first rank, you want to get success, come on, why do you waste your time like that? Why do you spend your time useless? Come on, your brain will drag you and make you to sit before the books or in any activity in which you are interested. So that is called burning desire. Wherever you may be and whatever you may be doing. So ultimately your concentration, your focus will be on your desire. Suppose if I want to become a doctor. So whenever I see a white cloth or a white color, so my thoughts will revolve around the doctor profession. So tomorrow when I become a doctor, I wear a white coat like this. So I put a stethoscope in my ears and treat the patients. So when you see a doctor, when you see a book, so you go to the market, you go to the bookshop, there you find many books, but your concentration will be on the medical books. Your concentration will be on the medical profession. So that is called the burning desires. So even in our daily lives also, we see that things which are fit to our profession and fit to our lives. So if you can develop that kind of desire in your life, ultimately the success will be with you. So what we should do to get that success? To make ourselves prepare our brain in such a burning way. So there are so many tricks. Our psychologists, they ask us to do meditation. So as per the psychologist, if you continuously give some instructions to your brain, so the brain is a powerful instrument. It's a supercomputer that can receive your signals, that will receive your desires, and ultimately the desire may be registered in your unconscious brain. So there are two kinds of brains, conscious brain and unconscious brain. What is conscious brain? Now I am in a conscious state. You are in the conscious state. You can able to listen to my words. So you are performing certain actions. So all these things are done by you knowingly. With your conscious mind. I want to raise my hand, so I can raise it. I am doing consciously. But we do certain things unconsciously. So even without your attempts also, we think about something. So you stay in the classroom, but you think about your mother's recipe. You think about your mother's delicious food. So this thing is happening in the mind without your effort. That is called unconsciousness, unconscious mind. So we have to pass on the instructions from conscious state to unconscious state. So when the mind has received your signals, I want to become a doctor. So when it is received by your unconscious brain, so automatically, though you are interested or not, your brain will drag you and make you to sit before the books and prepare for the exams. So we should meditate. So as per the psychologist, if you give instructions to your brain for at least 40 days, so the mind may receive your signals and prepare the desires or store the desires in your unconscious brain. So that's why in our olden days our elders used to ask us to do the Deekshas for 40 days. So that may be the secret behind it. So after doing a Deeksha for 40 days, that fellow will completely change his mind because the instructions are received by his unconscious brain. So that is what we call desire, burning desire. So you can't live without it. That is burning desire. Okay? Yes. So then your success will be with you. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, the man can achieve." So when you turn your brain or desire into a burning one or burning desire, then what Napoleon Hill said is correct. What he said. So whatever the mind of a man can conceive. Conceive means hide. So whatever the mind of a man conceives means hidden in his mind. So we are hiding so many desires. So if the desire is really hidden in your mind as a burning desire, and believe, and we have to believe our mind. We have to believe our capacities. So you should first of all believe yourself. Next, so the man can achieve. So don't put any doubt in it. So remove all kinds of doubts from your mind. Erase them. So first of all, you should believe yourself. And next one, we should really convert our ordinary desires into burning desires. So think about your desire. So even after 10,000 efforts also, Thomas Edison never come out of his desire. So that was the burning desire. I want to invent electric bulb. I want to flight in the air. That was the burning desire of brothers. So I want to become a popular man. So these are the burning desires of some popular persons in the world. So that's why they became familiar persons, popular persons. Burning desire. So if you want, you can. If you think you can do it. No doubt. Never put any doubt in your mind. Next. A young man asked Socrates the secret to success. So here we find a small conversation between Socrates and an young man. So an young man went to Socrates and requested him to tell the secret of success. We all know that Socrates is a very popular person, is a very great philosopher, and he is the guru of Aristotle. So he went to that great teacher, a great person, and requested him, "You are a very popular person, so I know about your popularity. Could you please tell me the secret of your success?" So simply, if you put a question to a really great person, they simply laugh at you. So what will be the secret of success? Except hard work. Next. So some great people, some knowledgeable people, if you put a question to them, they directly won't give answers to us. So if they give answers, so ordinary people like us, we try to give the answers immediately, spontaneously to our students. But great people never give answers, because that kind of doubt should be erased completely from your minds. So if I give some answers to you, if that answer is not in a satisfactory way, so you may erase some more doubts. So a best teacher will always try to remove or clarify the doubts completely from the student's mind. For that, they won't give answers directly and immediately. The same strategy is followed by Socrates also. So Socrates told the young man to meet him near the river the next morning. So you want the secret for success? Yes, sir. So then you do one thing. Tomorrow you meet me near the river. You come and meet me near the river tomorrow morning. So then I will explain the secret of success. Yes. As appointed, the young man went to the riverside, and there the Socrates was standing and waiting for this young man. They met. Socrates asked the young man to walk with him towards the river. Okay, I'm very happy you are here. So come on. So you follow me. You follow me, and this man, Socrates, started walking towards the river, and this young man also slowly followed him, slowly walked behind him. So when the water got up to their neck, so when they entered the water, so this young man didn't question Socrates. He is not having that much of guts to question Socrates. That's why simply, calmly, he is following this great man. So they went into the river, and the water came up to their knees. The water came up to their waist, and slowly the water came up to their chest, and finally the water came up to their neck. So when the water got up to their neck, Socrates took the young man by surprise and ducked him into the water. So after reaching up to the neck, so slowly, not slowly, all of a sudden, Socrates held his head and ducked him. Duck him means burrow him in the water, dip him in the water. So this boy didn't understand anything. Why this man is doing like that? So when he asked for success, he immediately drowned him in the water, pushed him in the water. Socrates took the young man by surprise and ducked him into the water. Duck means to push somebody under water and held them there for a short time. ముంచేయడం అంటాం in Telugu. So he pushed him into the water and kept there for some time. Can you imagine, or can you imagine the situation of that young man? He didn't expect. So all of a sudden he did like that. He ducked him into the water, and when we put our head in the water, we won't get proper oxygen, and we won't live for life. The boy struggled to get out, but Socrates was strong and kept him there until the boy started turning blue. So when oxygen is not supplied to us, so suddenly we turn into blue color, and Socrates is forcing that boy, pushing that boy harder and harder, and from the other side the boy is also trying to come out of the water. Here we see a small struggle between Socrates and young boy. What happened to that boy we shall learn in the next class. Until then, be happy and stay at home.